for people who don't know, you did a podcast with your mom right before she passed away.
Yes.
So like how, for you too, Joey, like how is it different? Like Joey, you talk about anything on stage really, but like talking about that on comedy versus on the podcast, and like what was it like? Because now ever since I listened to that podcast, every time I talk to my mom on the phone, I kind of think about it. It's kind of fucked up, but it was a really intense podcast. So
yeah, that was very intense. Well, man, it was like it's part of the problem, I think, and the reason people are so hung up is they like to forget that they're going to die.
Yeah.
And they like to forget that their parents are going to die. And also, if you've managed to really teach yourself or to push yourself away from the knowledge that every person that you love is going to die, then you can really start taking them for granted and become callous. And it's really hard to be, it's really hard to not have compassion when you fully realize the person you're with is going to only be there for an impermanent amount of time. It's almost like you have to delude yourself into thinking this person's going to be around you forever to treat them like an asshole. Because if I could go back in time and tell myself, hey, what the fuck are you talking to her like that for? She's not going to be around here permanently. You can't be an asshole like that.
Yeah.
I would, but I can't because so we all get into really very callous situations with our families, and that comes directly from allowing ourselves to pretend that they're immortal.
Yeah, I had a fight with my mom right around New Year's, and we didn't talk for 2 days, and I ended up calling her just for that reason. I'm like, what if she passed? Because she's almost about 60, right around there. I'm like, what if that happened? And and I just couldn't do it. Joey, what would you do? Have you ever thought about if you had your mom on a podcast, or anything like that?
What, the ghost of my mom on the podcast? I'd be a fucking millionaire. That's what happened.
Thank you, Joey.
You got Brad Pitt. I got a dead fucking lady. What the fuck have you done with your life, bitch? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got a fucking ghost on your podcast. That's. I was one guy that I was spoiled, and I didn't treat my mom like shit, but I didn't pay the attention that none of us really do, because nobody in this fucking room thinks that their mom or dad are ever gonna fucking die. Go to the store, fuck you, I'll go later. Vacuum, I'll do it later. Take the garbage out. There's all these little things that you never think about while you're doing them. When my mom died, it was a culture shock for me. I was 15. I look at kids today, and I always ask their parents, how old is your child? Oh, he's 15. I look at this guy, I go, he couldn't handle what I handled at that age, But I have a problem with people, like I always tell people, and you don't want to sound like a grandpa, to call your mother, because when she's gone, it's over. It's fucking over. Yeah. It's fucking over. You have no idea. It's something different. And I'm not going to tell you you're going to stay at home and cry and die, but it affects you every 2 or 3 days for 5 minutes. And you know what the thing is? You should have done more.
Yeah.
You should have done more. You should have done more for her. You should have done more for yourself. You should have done more for your family. That's a horrible way to live. That's why I always tell people, if you want to, can you imagine if I never tried comedy after prison, what I would be like right now? I would have shot somebody right now. Not doing what your heart wants you to do, I would have shot somebody right now. Not trying something, being 55 and going, fuck, I never tried that. So the worst thing in life is regrets. Your father, they're cool. Grandma and grandpa, they're cool. But fucking moms is solid. Yeah. Moms has come through for every motherfucker in this room one time. You know what I'm saying? Moms is solid.
Sure.
So you got to play the card right, and you got to, eat the shit and drive them.
Yeah, just deal with it. They might. Does not mean that your mom is not an asshole.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
your mom may very well be.
You got to shut them down from time to time too. I used to have this little girl used to come over and let me suck her titties and finger her. Like when you're 13 and somebody does you a favor. She was a cute girl. She'd come over and let me finger and suck her titties and, shit like that. She never let me fuck her, but fuck it, I was 13. I wouldn't let nobody fuck me either at 13. You could finger me and feel her pussy through her jeans. And my mom knew this, and it tormented my fucking mom to no end. Leave the door open, leave the door open, leave the door open. Fuck you, leave the door open. Until one day I got caught playing hooky with the girl. My mom went in her backyard and called that girl's mother and her every name in the book in Spanish. Whore, puta, cocksucker, and they were Cubans, you know. So I always knew Mom was an asshole, you know, like for doing that day.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? They're your fucking mom, guy.
That's right. And you and
That's right.
it's true. All this, man, I feel like I hope I don't seem, I feel maudlin and lectury. I don't mean to seem like that at all. I think it's your mom is like a, your mom, this sounds really weird, but she can be like a bench press that you can exercise love on, like it's not easy. It's really hard to express love to somebody who's probably maybe tried to fill you with bullshit about Christianity, or is like terrified of drugs, or has a lot of like really bad ideas that came from her parents. Because what happens is, what it is a very long time ago, like 100,000 years ago or 200,000 years, when we descended down from trees, we were actively being chased by bears and tigers, and like it was so you spent your time in a constant state of absolute terror and horror. Like right now we're okay, but back then you had to worry about quicksand pits. That was like volcanoes exploding and destroying your village. That's a lot of fear, and that fear got transferred because when you have a kid in that kind of environment, there's no coddling the kid. You sit them down and you're like, you gotta fucking watch out for snakes, man. Because they will fucking kill your ass, and they're all over the place. Not to mention tigers and giant eagles. You have to be careful.
And
quicksand. Well, that's fear, and that's useful fear that gets pushed into the kid like a little ball of energy. And then that kid, after that kid tells his kid the same thing, and that kid tells his kid the same thing, and that ball of fear travels through time from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next. And maybe there's no more eagles or bears, but the energy of the fear is still there. And that's what part of how your parents raise you, is they give you this little burst of ancient terror. And that's what it is. And you can't blame them for that. You can't then think that they're fucked up or they're horrible people. They were just transmitters of this survival energy that's been going on forever. So you got to forgive them for scaring the shit out of you. That's the first step. And then once you do that, they can be a little easier to deal with. And when you hear the fear in their voice that's so annoying when they try to control your life, you know that's just them showing you love in a different way.